So the first topic I wanted to talk about is training using progressive reinforcement and putting your dog's needs first. So, well, first of all, this seminar is not just only for professional dog trainers or people who really want to refine their training skills, but also for beginner trainers. So all the exercises in this seminar, they can be used by beginners and also by people doing really advanced tricks and behaviors. So people competing, people doing, obedience, canine freestyle, what have you. And sometimes, like I do, sometimes we get all caught up in these wonderful, complex behaviors, and we forget to look at all those little other behaviors in between. And it cannot be so much fun to work on all the problem stuff. So for people who are already doing advanced stuff, it's a great way to rethink what you can do differently to get more precision and smoother behavior. And for beginners, it's a great way to get those awesome skills so you're not going to have problems down the line. But the first thing I wanted to talk about is continuing to keep your original goal in your head. Why did you start this? Why are you working with dogs? Why are you competing? What are you doing with your dog? No matter how you train, whether you use lots of luring or whether you use free shaping, where you get the dog to offer approximations of the behavior till they reach the final result without any helping the dog out in between, or shaping where you give them little clues along the way with targets or pointing or using your eyes. Any of those, there's one thing that's really necessary to get the final result. It's offering. Your dog's got to have the skill of offering. But it can be a little bit confusing because some dogs are really highly dependent on being told what to do. So when you don't say anything or you don't give any cues, then they just stand it and watch you. Like, yeah, well, now what? So they don't want to offer. And then there's other dogs that want to offer too much. So I want to talk about the reinforcement, delivery, and placement. How you deliver the treat to your dog and where does the treat go. But not just that. I want people, before they train their dogs, to plan what is coming. What is coming for the dog? Do you know what your reinforcement is going to be? Have you planned it? Have you got some ideas of what to use if something doesn't work? Where is it coming from? Where is this treat coming from? Now, that might not be such a big deal for some dogs, but for other dogs, the anticipation of where the treat is coming from can change the behavior too. If they know that the person they're going to get to say hi to is outside of the room and not just next to you, and they have to sit to say hi to him over there and not here, then the dog's anticipation of, oh, I must be over there, might change the way the dog's behavior while they're training. If the dog knows if you haven't worked on it and your dog knows the treats that are on the ground and you have none on you, it's going to make them act differently than if they know they're on your side. So have you planned where the treats are kept, where they're going to appear from? Do they always come from the same place? So that when you do a competition and you're not wearing a treat bag, then they're like, it's not there anymore. The next topic. Well, teaching without using no reward markers is part of this topic. It's lowering frustration. So if you get a frustrated dog, sometimes telling them they're wrong all the time can make them more frustrated. So instead of using no reward markers as a crutch, try and think, how can I solve the problem? Oh, do I need to go back a step? Do I need to change the scenario? Maybe I need to lower the criteria of one thing to increase the criteria of another. When you look online or find out information about training, usually it says, you've got to be really careful with your timing and that you're not moving when you click. You're looking for a precise behavior, dog sits, you click it, and then you reinforce it. So you've chose the right reinforcement, your dog did the right behavior, you said the cue correctly. But there's all this stuff in between that can get in the way of training. So what we're going to be looking at is observing our dog's behavior. We're refining our observation skills. What is that dog doing just before you start training? What is your dog doing when you're preparing to train? What is your dog doing as you say the cue as well as doing the behavior that you like? What's happening after you click or mark and before you give the reinforcement in that little window? And what's happening after you give the reinforcement and before you get to the next cue or end the session?